All right, so Freya's family, we are going on a little mini getaway. We're leaving the house now.
Getaway?
Yeah, Jaden, that's gonna be my partner in crime this week. This week, actually. So where are we going, guys?
Arkansas.
Arkansas. We're gonna go chill with our grandparents and our grandma and just have fun. And there's someone sitting next to me in the passenger seat. She's just gonna be the camera woman. So I don't think she's looking. She's not on fleek right now. So she's. But no, we are gonna go have some fun and move Ricardo's truck real quick for him because he's out of town, and then we're gonna go pick up my grandma, and a 5-hour trip is ahead of us. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
What's your name? You? Scratching Kid? So you can't see it, but there's a St. Clair's. It's probably not broad enough. But when my grandma was a kid, like she said, that's all they had was St. Clair's, and gas was probably like 30-40 cents a gallon.
Yeah,
So, a quarter, yeah. So it was a quarter, but you'll be able to see it right there. It's pretty neat. Sinclair with the little dinosaur. Because when my grandma was younger, the dinosaurs were walking this earth. Right? Here in Arkansas in Fort Smith, and the boys are having fun. Hey, Gordo! Hey! Hey! But yeah, we're just going on the lazy river right now, just having fun. Just not doing nothing today. Today was a slow day, so we're just going to spend time with the family. So having fun. Go in the water, ready? 1, 2, 3, go! You're walking. Jay, you having fun? Yeah. Yeah? Go in the water. Ready? 1. Me and you. 1. Okay, go to me and you. Come on. 1, 2, 3, go. Where we at, Jaden? Lazy River. And where? Texas? We're in Arkansas. Now we're about to hit the waterfall. Ready? Everybody together. Hold on, Gordo. We're going to the waterfall. Here it goes. Here it goes. Did it get you good? Now in the water. Okay, ready? Ready, go, Jaden? 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, it was pushing my head. Let's go down the big slide. You want to go down the big slide? All right, so pretty cool little thing. We're here in Fort Smith, Arkansas, visiting family. And you can see behind me there's a thing called the gallows, which as we get closer to it, my uncle kind of explained the history behind it. So it's pretty neat when you think of, you know, in the 1700s, the Indians, everyone's here. There's a reason why Fort Smith is called Fort Smith, because of the river. They were able to create a fort in order to defend their land, you know, after we took over. And it's just, the history here is really rich. Surprisingly, I was a little surprised, not really knowing what to expect coming to Fort Smith, because it's been a while since I've been here, from when I was a kid. But behind me you can just see the view in one of the what was this, Jonah?
I think this was the old courthouse.
It's the old courthouse. It looks like they no longer use it, but it's historic. But yeah, we'll walk around and I'll show you the gallows. The gallows is where they used to hang people, not in any racist form. It was just, if you broke the law, the judge was forced to execute you to the full extent of what the law was at that time. So it just shows how far it was ago from being back then to now, and how we handle things. Obviously now we have the death penalty, and it doesn't consist of hanging. I believe there's a few states that still do it. I'm not too sure which ones those are, but sure you can look that up. So pretty neat. We're right here at the courthouse, and you can see down on the bottom level was the first jail that they had back here in 1872. And you can see the next floor is the barracks where the army and them would stay. And then the second floor, which would be up top with the second set of windows, was the actual original courthouse here in Fort Smith. And eventually, obviously, crime must have got high, so they built a second jail. And you can see there's a second jail just over here. But just a lot of history here, you know. And I believe on the last video that I showed, I said that it was the Indians fighting. Actually, it was the Fort Smith side fighting the Indians from coming in. So that was obviously before the whole us taking over their country or their states. I don't know, however you want to view that whole thing. So, you know, it's different. I mean, seeing that we built a fort, or Fort Smith built a fort to help them not, you know, kill them, I guess. I don't know. But it's pretty neat over there. They had like this little stand where they had slits in there, and they were directly facing the enemy. Well, after time, they kind of figured, hey, if we put it at an angle, when they directly fire back, we're not gonna get shot. So they eventually, you know, modern time, right? They put slants in. Mattresses here, what they had as mattresses back then, just a little throw blanket and a towel. I mean, no pillows. You can see here, this is where they would actually poop and pee, and then you can see the fireplace, and that's where they used to just light it up and burn their you know. So it's pretty graphic. But also over here you can see where they would get their water and food. You can see right here. So this is the prison that in the 1800s that Fort Smith had for their murderers. You had to really do some bad stuff to get here. So and this right here is actually a little chair that their lawyer would come in and sit down and be able to talk to their clients. Or so pretty neat. It's not you know, it's just history. It's different. Like it. Don't know what to say. Alright, so we just got to the gallows, which is the spot in Fort Smith where they would actually put people to hang for crimes, murder, all different types of crazy crimes that they would commit back in the day. And here is Judge Isaac C. Parker, which during his time as judge, he sentenced 160 people, 4 of which were women, and of those 79 men were hung in a pretty short amount of time. I believe it was only 30 years that he put that many people to hang. So you could see it's actually, I say neat, but it's different. It's what the country used to be like. So you're not sitting behind bars anymore. If you did a crime that was that bad, he would sentence you to hang, and you know, he hated doing it. It was just, that's what the law required of him at that time in the 1800s, in the mid 1800s. Actually, he started in 1868, but that's what the law required for him to do. And he didn't like doing it. He would rather get rid of it, but he wanted to follow the law. And if you put him in that predicament, he was going to, you know, execute the law. So pretty neat. Judge Parker is a big figure here in the gallows, and you know, as far as executions of Fort Smith. So I'll leave it at that. Over here at the Arkansas River. Pretty beautiful here. Just seeing that, you know, this was kind of the battlegrounds from the settlers in the beginning in the 1800s against the Indians. So just being able to see that's pretty neat. You can just see the view here.
Look at the little fish, said you like sushi, so be it.
Hey, did y'all see that fish that just jumped out of the water?
You want to touch it, baby? Daddy's scared to touch it. Touch it.
So we just came on a trip, you know, the bike riding and all that, and it was pretty fun. We had a good time, and we got to share, you know, just some of my uncle's friends, and we just went bike riding, and I almost crashed a couple times. We had some fun. It was fun, but just a little shout out to my uncle's friends. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm David. Welcome to Fort Smith, Arkansas. Next time you see Jonah, ask him about the sniper cross.
This is other buddy.
Hey, this is Steven, Fort Smith, Arkansas, and know Jonah through work, and been a good friend, good rider.
So, yeah, that caps it right there. We're gonna go get some burgers because we gotta work on our six-pack. You know, make sure we get the lines going.
But wait, watch. I'll put you on speaker. Right, say it again. Sound slow.
No, he did. He fell off one of the narrow bridges. We told him to stay in the middle of it. I mean, that's all he had to do was stay in the middle and cross it. He fell off, and I think it's broke. It's swelled
Oh
up.
my gosh, off the path.
It's swelled up like it's broke, Mom.
Y'all go take him to the hospital?
Yeah, we're pulling up at Groves right now.
Oh my God, it's too wet. Oh, that's
It hurts, Grandma.
Mom, I'm just kidding.
It hurts. Ow.
Oh, no, Jack. Oh, John Digger.
Hey, so that's that's me and
He's having car trouble?
that's me and my uncle pranking my grandma saying I broke my arm riding bikes. So pretty cool. We just got to a lake that's close to my uncle's house here in Arkansas in Fort Smith, and you can see we're at this little like waterfall thing. And wasn't it bigger last time, Brady?
Yeah, it hasn't rained.
It hadn't rained in a week, so that's kind of why it looks. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see it, but normally it was pouring down last time. The kids enjoyed it. They're sitting here having fun. Pretty cool. Whoa, Jocelyn almost fell. why they named it that. John, why they name it?
Sugarloaf Mountain.
Don't.
They named it because of Sugarloaf Mountain. It's a man-made lake that they built in 1955.
About right around the time you were born.
No, about the time your grandma and grandpa were born. Not that old.
Yeah, I think my uncle was around too with the dinosaurs too, from the looks of it. The aerial shot right there. Yeah.